Welcome back to the Habs podcast, guys. Welcome back to a brand new video. I just want to say we're so sorry. We've been a little inactive recently. We're back, and my friend, we are in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yes, sir. And we're gonna do today the bracket challenge. And like you said, for the first time since 2021, the Montreal Canadiens are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is
Yes,
completely
so
insane. Playoff hockey in Montreal is gonna be crazy. I'm just so excited. I can't wait.
so before we get into this video, guys, thank you so much for subscribing, liking, and let us know what is your prediction down in the comments below. We would love to hear your feedback on our opinions. So
Yes, exactly.
feel free. Yeah.
So let's start with the East and the first matchup between Toronto and Ottawa. So um,
Ooh.
this is gonna be a really good one. This is the first battle of Ontario
Yeah.
since 2004, and it's a Toronto team that's gonna have a lot of pressure against a Sens team that could play spoilers. But like, what do you think? What's your prediction?
I'm gonna be honest, man. It really is gonna come down to if the core four can get it done for them. Like
Exactly.
honestly, to me, if they don't wake up, like I feel like Ottawa has the team that has the most heart, the most like I
And
don't know
like,
how
they
to
have no
explain that.
playoff
Like,
experience though. Like,
see, yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, you're, but like, yeah, exactly. And Toronto has playoff experience, but like a lot of pressure.
yeah, but
So like
what do you?
considering like Marner might be playing his last series with the Leafs too. Like we
Oh,
don't know
that's
what's
true.
his future
And
is.
also Tavares,
Hold on.
maybe you never know.
Yeah.
But
So I'm gonna be honest. I hate to say it as a Habs fan, but I have to be realistic here. I got Toronto in six.
same. That's actually what I was gonna say. I got Toronto in six. I think that like you said, yeah, I think you said it right. I think Toronto has a really good like depth this time, but like you said, it's all down to the core four. But I still think like it's going to be enough to beat the Ottawa Senators because they have like no experience. I think Linus Ulmer can steal a couple of games, but like I said, I got Toronto in six. They have a little bit more, not a little bit. They have a lot of more depth than Ottawa, a lot more experience. So I think that even if the core four doesn't cook and doesn't clutch up, I think it's still going to be enough to beat Ottawa. So Toronto in six.
Yeah.
Then,
Yeah. So now the next matchup. This is a good one, man. The Battle of Florida. Tampa Bay versus Florida.
wow, this is going to be a great one.
This
But
the defending champs, man.
yeah, against a great Tampa team. So what people are
Yeah.
saying and what I'm saying also is that Ottawa right now, not Ottawa, Florida has a lot of injuries, and Ekblad is suspended till game two. And Matthew Kachuk, yes, he will come back, but he might not be at 100%. And like recently, we saw like Florida's a little bit out of gas because they went to two cup finals. But do you think like it's still gonna be enough to beat Tampa Bay?
I'm gonna be honest. I hate to say it, but I think. I mean, it's crazy to say, but I think that the Cup champs are gonna be out in the first round. I'm sorry. Like
Wow.
at the beginning of the season, I thought Florida's gonna go for another cup this year. But considering all their injuries, considering that Eggplant is injured, I'm sorry. I have to go with Tampa Bay
How
here in
many
six.
games?
In six.
In six. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're no surprises here, but I'm going to go with a
Yeah.
hot take, and I'm gonna say Florida is gonna win. I'm going to say they win in seven. What I think will happen is that Tampa Bay will take control of that series early on. They might take like a 1-0 lead or a 2-0 lead, but I think like that once Ekblad comes back, I think they will lock in. And I just like I love that Florida team. Okay, I think they're gonna be motivated to be a dynasty. They have such a good forecheck. I think like Tampa has the edge in net, but I think defensive depth and coaching goes to Florida. And
Oh
I
yeah, hundred
I just
percent.
love their
Yeah.
forecheck with Verhage, Barkov, Kachuk, Reinhardt. Like I think that's such a good offensive core with playoff performers. So I'm going with Florida in seven. I'm going with not an upset, but a little bit of an upset. Florida in seven.
Yeah, man. Wow.
So next matchup is the Montreal Canadiens against the Washington
Yeah.
Capitals. So this is like the series that we're all looking forward to, the series we're all gonna watch. Do you
Yeah.
think the Montreal Canadiens have what it takes for an upset?
Yes, yes. I'm going with Montreal in six. Call me crazy.
Wow.
I'm going with Montreal and not in seven. I'm calling it right now. Montreal in six.
Okay, wow. So what's your reasoning behind this?
Listen, man, I think like a lot of people, I feel like Washington has a lot of pressure. Not a lot of pressure, but like I feel like, you know,
But they do because
we,
they were first in the East.
yeah. And I feel like in the playoffs, like what you did in the season don't matter no more. And I feel like if Montreal starts like winning a few games, like Washington might get some type of pressure and just choke. So I
And
got
Logan
Montreal in
Thompson is
six.
injured also, so that might
Yeah,
cause them some
exactly.
issues.
Like what is telling you that Dvorak can score on Charlie Lindgren?
Yeah, and I think people are underestimating Montreal Canadiens because like the depth is there. Look at the lineup and tell me like one big flaw
Yeah,
aside from the second center. Like it's a great
yeah, man.
team. I think this series is gonna go to seven. I think it's gonna be such a good battle. It's two great teams, like not similar, but I think it's both teams that have a lot of depth, a lot of star power. But I think even like Montreal has the edge for star power. But for me, this series is gonna go to seven. But the difference is gonna be goaltending. I think Montembeault has like no playoff experience, and I think Logan Thompson, like if he comes back late in the series, is gonna like maybe carry them to a win in Game Seven. They're gonna have home advantage, and like they're gonna have the experience, etc. So I'm going with Washington, but I think it will take 7 games. I love this Montreal team. I think people don't realize how fast this team is. Like the
Yeah,
star power with Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, who's a great first line, Hudson, like who's having an amazing year, and also like I think I love the Carrier Goulet also, like people who stabilize the defense. This is going to be a really, really tough series for the
yeah,
Caps. It's going to go to 7 games, but I've got Caps in seven.
yeah. But I'm not gonna lie. Washington is a very good team on the forecheck. Um, like they're very good to put pucks deep. So it's gonna be a good challenge for us.
Oh, for sure, and it's going to be so good for the team, for the young guys to get that experience, to get that
And
in-game
yeah, and
playoff experience. Because look at teams like Buffalo and Detroit, who's been rebuilding for
yeah,
10 years. I'm 100% sure one of the reasons the rebuild is taking so long is because those young players haven't had like the experience to play in important games, and Montreal is going to get that. And I
yeah.
also
And
think
I
that
feel
just
like
like before we move on, I just want to say like the two coaches for both teams, like Spencer Carberry is Jake Adams' favorite for the Caps, and Martin Sewell is such a great coach. So it's gonna be a great coaching
yeah,
battle too, huh? But what did you want to say also?
yeah. Yeah, and I also want to say, like, what does Montreal have to lose at this point? Like, we made the playoff. That's already accomplishments
Exactly.
for the season
So
as
the
a rebuild team. Like, what do we have to lose?
yes, they already exceeded expectations, like they have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
And even if they lose in the
and
first round, it's not an embarrassment. It's actually a really
yeah,
good
and
surprise.
yeah, and I also want to say that David Savard announced today that he's gonna be retiring after the season. A little sad,
Wow,
but
but that could also be motivating.
yeah, that could also be motivating. Yeah, he's gonna be motivated to try to win a cup in his hometown, his last chance. So we never know.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's move on to the Carolina New Jersey series. So,
Ooh,
what do you think? So, a lot of people are saying Carolina is the favorite in this one because New Jersey has a lot of injuries. Jack Hughes won't play.
yeah,
We still don't know on
yeah.
Jonas Siegenthaler, who's an important depth demon. Dougie Hamilton, their number one demon for New Jersey, might not be 100%. But do you think like maybe New Jersey can do an upset, or is Carolina gonna take this?
Man, I got Carolina in five. I
Carolina in
mean,
five. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean,
So you got Carolina
it's
in five, Montreal in six, Tampa in six, and Toronto in seven.
yeah,
Perfect.
yep,
I'm gonna put that in. I'm going to go
man,
also with Carolina, but I'm going in six because I think like Jacob Markstrom might steal a couple of games. Um, the the thing is like it's just like you said, Carolina is so well coached, like defensively. Like Rod Brindamour is a good defensive coach. They still have a good pieces on the offense, a nice little depth, and they have home advantage in this series as well. Less injuries, more of a healthy team. But the only reason I think it goes to six is because I think Jacob Markstrom will steal a couple of games.
yeah, man.
So now let's go with the West side
Like
of the bracket.
Winnipeg versus Saint Louis, man. Wow, St. Louis,
Wow. So who you got?
man. I'm not gonna, you know, like I'm just gonna go with the Jets because I know like St. Louis has been hot down the stretch, but like I just gotta go with Winnipeg here. It's just
President
no
Trophy
question for
winners.
me. Yeah, Hellebuck has been playing so well this year.
Mhm.
Kyle Connor, good season. Like I got a Winnipeg in I got them in six. I will give the Blues 2 games, but
And you
beside
know
that,
what? I actually agree with you. I also have Winnipeg in
yeah,
six. So I think a lot of people are saying the X factor for Winnipeg is Connor Hellebuck and that he might choke in the playoffs. And I do agree. But I don't think he will choke against St. Louis. I think he will choke maybe a
yeah,
little bit later on, like against teams like
yeah,
Colorado who got stars, shooters. But
like he did in Four Nations.
yeah, but no, I'm going Winnipeg in six. I think St. Louis is gonna make this a series. I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people. I expect something like maybe like the Jets to like the series is gonna be. I don't know how to explain, but I think St. Louis is actually gonna lead the series 2-1, and everyone's gonna panic Winnipeg. They're gonna be like, oh, what is happening? And I think like it's going to be really really tough to get rid of that St. Louis team. Like they will maybe be on the edge of forcing that game 7, but I think Winnipeg overall just has a lot more than the St. Louis teams like depth wise. They're the President Trophy winners. They got some great offensive D man. And St. Louis doesn't have like maybe the shooting stars to like expose Ella Buck's weakness in the playoffs that much. So yes, Winnipeg in six for me.
Nice.
So the next series is a great one. We still got 5 minutes for this part
Yeah,
one video.
yeah.
Dallas against Colorado. Wow, wow. So what's your pick?
Matt, I wanted to go with Dallas, but like considering all the injuries that Dallas is having, two big names are injured, Heiskanen and Robinson. So I gotta go just because of that to Colorado. But I do think Dallas has the goaltending, have a better goaltending than Colorado. But I gotta go with Colorado in six.
Okay, Colorado in six. I'm going to go also with Colorado in six because like I wanted to go with Dallas at first because like like I thought they
Yeah,
had a better overall team, a better forecheck. But now with Askinen injured and they finished the season on a 7 game losing streak, like you said, without Robertson, I think it's going to be really really tough. I think Colorado has a great team, great offensive punch. We all know how clutch McKinnon and McCarr can be. McCarr actually won the Conn Smythe too, and all those things. So I think it's a great star power. And
and
then you add a guy like Devin Taves, who's a great shutdown D.
yeah, and Nate Chess,
Yes, yes, he's been such a great fit also. And like we
and
say this,
even
but
like
they also
Brock
have a good.
Nelson,
Excuse me. What?
Brock Nelson.
Yeah, exactly. They have a good second center. They have a great depth, bottom six guys. The only issue for me is maybe like the defensive depth, but like Dallas has a terrible defensive depth right now with the injuries. So
Yeah,
I'm still going Colorado, and I think Backwood,
yeah,
the Avs goalie, is going to be good enough to get them the win.
yeah, and it's gonna be Rantanen versus his old team. So
Yes,
yeah, now move on. Let's move on to the next series: Vegas versus Minnesota. Who you got?
I got Vegas and I got them in six.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
I think people are underestimating Minnesota. Minnesota. I think they still have a great team. Like people don't remember that they started the season with like being one of the hottest teams in the league, and then it all eventually like drifted down. But yeah, I think Vegas has a great defensive depth, great team experience from winning the cup. So Vegas in six. What about you?
Yeah, I gotta go with the same thing, man. Vegas in six. Um, like it's just not like you said, like you can't underestimate Minnesota, but obviously Vegas does have a lot of star power there, so I have to go with Vegas.
Okay, 2 minutes left for the part one video. What do you think, Ellie Edmonton?
I'm going with Edmonton, man. Considering the injuries, I'm gonna go with Edmonton, even though it's gonna be a tough one for them. I'm going Edmonton in seven.
Edmonton in seven. Okay,
Yeah.
because yeah, like they own the LA Kings historically in the playoffs, so I would say that's a logical pick. But I'm going to go with Los Angeles. I'm gonna go with Los Angeles in 6 games. I'm gonna tell you why. For me, it's just that um right now Edmonton has Matthias Ekholm injured, their number one demon, and they have a lot of question marks, injuries, and also I don't like what they did at the trade line in the offseason. Like they completely changed their defense, who was really good defensively, and like they should have re-signed Holloway. We talked a lot about this. Like they should have kept the same team around. I think this is gonna cost them a lot. Plus, like they don't have an healthy team, and also this is like the best Kings team like in a while. So I think they have what it takes. They have great defensive system. They have Darcy Kemper has been performing really well. A good offensive depth, just a structured team. I think Edmonton this year, like exactly what I said, like the injuries plus the fact like Jake Wallman wasn't a good pickup. They need to go for a defensive guy, and now they also lose their best defensive D man. So I'm sorry, like they're not going to be able to cover that terrible goaltending. Also recently, I think this year is going to be different. I'm going with Kings in six.
Nice.
So thank you everyone, and stay for part two.